Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about a I guess this is like one of those awkward things that you may think about. I know I do a lot throughout my lifetime, and I've had chats with different friends about it, different aspects about friendship in general and relationships. And really, I think everybody at a certain point in their lives, whether you're in middle school or college or in the workspace, and even when you're like 60 years old, you might be experiencing just meeting new people or having friends kind of come and go throughout your life. And I think some people are comfortable enough to talk about it with other friends, or with their significant others, and just kind of, or with their therapists, and just talk about the things that bother them through making friends, losing friends. And some people just, at least from what I've seen, just kind of keep things bottled in. Um, so I guess I think it's important enough because I do really care about mental health and just overall how happy people are on a day-to-day basis and the things that we think about. And a lot of the times I feel like sometimes people are stressed about things and they don't even know like what they're stressed about, or you're not open to think about it. So I hope like by me sharing this with you guys and my thoughts on it, um, maybe it could help you out or not. If it does help you out though, hit that like button. If it doesn't help you out, hit the like button for my little tree here. My little bamboo plant. I don't think that's a tree. My bad. But I put a bunch of money on it because I actually I've bought 2 money trees already in the past, like, 2, 3 years. Within the last 2 years, I bought 2 money trees, and they both, unfortunately, did not make it. So, now I just ended up buying, bamboo, and, it's living, so I put money in it. I put money on it. I didn't tape it on it or anything like that, so I put, some bills on there because it's my new money tree, even though it's not a money tree. I would like to still buy a money tree, though. A really big one, because I recently went to my friend's place, and she has 2 money trees, and they're both thriving way better than the previous ones that I bought, and I'm like, maybe the reason is, like, my money trees that I bought were, like, this thin in terms of the trunk, and then hers are, like, this thick or, like, this thick or thicker than this mic. So I'm like, maybe that's a difference. I don't know. Okay, so let's get started. We're gonna talk about friendships, relationships, and I would love to hear from you, anything you learned from your relationships, whether it's a romantic relationship or family or friendships that you deem important enough to share with the world, if you don't mind. So I'd love to see that in the comments, or if you want to chat about it in the live stream, that'd be great. But this is my second channel. If you have not checked out my main one, definitely look down in the description below. I'm pretty much chronically online, and I think of myself as there's a huge piece of me that basically lives on the internet, and there's so many videos out there that I don't even know some of the videos, and I don't even know some of the things that I've said because I've said so much out there. So excuse me if maybe I don't even remember what I said at certain points in my life, but in this point in time in 2025, I do wanna talk about my current thought process on friendships and relationships, and why I titled this "The Different Chapters of You" or "The Different Chapters of Your Life" is I had this, like, random epiphany today. Like, I think about all these different relationships between people constantly, um, but today I randomly thought about how it's very interesting that when you meet someone, okay, whether you meet someone, through a friend, or you meet someone at the grocery store, or you meet someone at a party or whatever, when you meet someone new, isn't it funny that there's so many different pieces to us, whether you wanna think of it as like a puzzle and there's 1,000 pieces, a million pieces of you. There's just so many different aspects of you, whether it's as basic as what's your favorite color to as complex as what's, like, your origin story, like, what made you you? Maybe you're a villain. What made you that way? Or maybe you overcame something huge and, like, maybe you didn't tell anyone about it. There's just so many different aspects to every person, and I feel like when you meet someone new, you only have so much time, right? Like, you're like a complicated book, and when you meet someone new, it's kinda crazy that it's just all depending on the circumstances of how you even meet this person that you may talk about yourself. And then when you are talking about yourself, it maybe they asked you a certain question like, "Hey, where are you from? Where did you grow up?" Or how you might have, met their mutual friend. So depending on kind of maybe what questions they ask you, you will only answer certain things, which means you're really only bringing out certain chapters of you. There could be 100 chapters to your life, but you might only be asked one question, which would then cause you to answer a tiny little paragraph from one complicated chapter of 100 chapters of your life. And then when you say that and you express yourself in that way to somebody else, that might be the chapter that causes that person to fall for you, like you, want to be your friend, think you're amazing, or whether you're on a date and someone asks you a question and you explain yourself in that way and you invite them and you express yourself for that chapter of your life. And again, that could be the reason that they fall in love with you on that first date. Or it could be like the single reason why somebody hates you, just dislikes you right off the bat. And the funniest part is you may be speaking the truth about yourself. And this is all like with language and communication too, but you might be saying something about yourself that you deem to be absolutely true. And you're explaining yourself in a way where you're like, okay, this is where I grew up, like just explaining things about yourself, about your past that the person who's asking you would think only you would know, but maybe you're doing a bad job or you're saying it in a way where you think it's pleasant or it's a good way to advertise yourself, but maybe the other person is hearing it and that's just not their cup of tea. So maybe you're if you had said it in a different way, they would maybe change their mind about you. So that's just very crazy to me that I realized it's like the butterfly effect. There's just so many different cause and effect situations. Like there's millions of possibilities of how you can answer a question or say something about yourself and then that would cause another human being to either really really like you for it or really dislike you for it. Then they wouldn't really and if let's say I asked you a question, maybe I don't really like to ask political questions, but I feel like some people do. Um, but maybe I asked you a question about like who your favorite president is or something like that. I don't know why I would even ask that, but maybe I'll ask that. And then you'll say like, I don't know, FDR or something. Um, or maybe you like Biden or maybe you like Trump or I don't know, or Obama. And then you start saying something or your favorite person, your favorite president. And I could either decide I want to get to know chapter 2 of you or I don't wanna get to know chapter 2. So based off of, like, one thing that I asked you, and if something doesn't hit or, like, I immediately lose interest in wanting to be your friend or wanting to get to know you better, unfortunately, I'm not going to want to know chapter 2. I might not ask you another question. I might not want to get to know you more, and is that your fault or my fault? Not really. I feel like that's just there are certain things in life that is doesn't even need an explanation. Sometimes in life, things are just very complicated, and sometimes and you just have to kind of accept knowing this, that it might not be your fault, and it might not be someone else's fault. Sometimes you guys just don't vibe, and it's not and maybe you would have vibed. Maybe you would have become best friends had the first question asked to you, or maybe your first impression onto someone wasn't a chapter of you that they did not get excited about. It's almost like the pilot of a new TV show that you're obsessed with. Usually the pilot has to be good, right? And if the pilot's not good, you better pray the second episode is amazing. Because if it's not, then you're not gonna hook people in. It's almost like a song as well. You have to have a hook. I don't know how to write songs, but I heard you have to have an amazing hook and hopefully a great bridge. So it's almost like you only get a few chances with people in terms of because there's billions of people out there, right? Like currently there's 8 billion people, I believe, on this planet. I don't wanna say everyone's so replaceable because I don't believe humans are replaceable. I think we're all very special, and I think every individual has something really unique and amazing about them, and you can really learn something from everyone as long as you give them the opportunity, but then again, that's the thing. we don't have endless time. We don't have endless opportunities. So it's almost like sometimes I'll give you an example, like, so basically, like, if I were to meet someone new and I'm like, "Oh, I really like this person." Maybe I heard a chapter about them or of them from another friend, and I'm like, "I really wanna be this person's friend." And but then I start talking about myself, and even though I am interested in their book or the couple chapters that I've heard about, maybe when I start yapping and I start talking, I'm talking about something that makes them dislike me. And maybe if they knew other chapters of me and I started off with another conversation, they would have then liked me, but I didn't. And it's just too late because now they're moving on. They're like, I don't want to get to know Lucy anymore. Like, she seems like a really either crazy person or like she just doesn't seem like a nice person. Whether they took a joke that I said very seriously or anything, there could be so many, many reasons. And then y- I might walk away being like, oh my God, I feel terrible about myself. Like, what did I say? What did I do? And this is something I think that's natural. Like, I don't know about you guys, but for me, even while I am talking to someone sometimes, and this is like back then when I worked in the office, like even when I'm like in a work environment or it just a complete random stranger, or if I'm buying something from someone and they're chatting with you, or a server at a restaurant, sometimes I'll like, as I'm saying something, I'll catch myself being like, oh man, that was like really dumb. Why would you say that? Or like, oh man, that was so awkward. Like, why did I say those words out loud? And it is what it is. You can't really take those moments back. Um, but yeah, I just want you guys to know that I think it happens to everybody. And as much as you might feel insecure or maybe unhappy about the fact that someone met you and maybe doesn't want to get to know you more, I don't think, I mean, if everyone meets you and every single different chapter you speak about yourself, or though maybe there's something very offending in the way you talk to somebody. If every single person you talk to, like, nobody wants to have another word with you afterwards, and you're getting, like, that weird look like you just offended someone, then maybe you have to question, like, how you're speaking to people. That I also believe. But sometimes, you know, you find that you had a conversation with someone and you're like, "Okay, we really connected." And then sometimes you have conversations with people and you're like, "Oh, they don't, like me, or they don't wanna get to know me more." I feel like that's okay. And then you can walk away and at the end of the day, first off, understand that it's impossible to like everyone because just like all the different colors in the world, you're not gonna like every single color. You're not gonna like every single flavor of ice cream, and that's okay. So you can't expect everyone to like fall in love with you and like you. That's the gist of it. You're gonna be very tired, I think, going through life, hoping and praying that everybody really, really likes you because it's just that's definitely not how life works. Um, so first off, I hope that for you. And other moments where you just don't get it, I hope you can walk away knowing that maybe they just found out about a chapter of you that they maybe didn't like as much or wasn't as interested in. Like you're reading a book, the back of a book, and you're like, "Ah," or the cover, and you're like, "Ah, just not that interested." But sometimes when you give it a shot, you might end up really, really liking the book, or you might end up really liking the TV show. Game of Thrones is like one of the best series ever. Now I can say this after I binge watch all of it, but I remember when people first told me to go check it out, and I checked it out like years later, I was already late to it. I remember, I think, watching the first episode for like 15 or 20 minutes, and I wasn't into it. So I like didn't give it a shot until I think, like, the last season, when they were on their last season, and then I was like, "Oh, you know what? I'll give it another shot." Right? And then thank God I ended up liking it because I went through the first episode and the second episode, and then I think it was around the 3rd or 2nd episode that I really started to like the entire series. But I could have gone my whole life without having finished Game of Thrones, and that I feel like would have been a bummer because I loved it so much afterwards. So I think sometimes when you have moments where you meet someone and they didn't really wanna get to know you, it's okay. Doesn't mean there's anything wrong with you. Maybe it just means that they got to know an episode of you, a chapter of you that isn't what would have made them like you. Instead, they got to know a chapter of you that makes them not wanna get to know you, and that's just totally okay. With that all being said, I also wanna state this because I feel like sometimes I stress about how okay, if you were to meet, like, a bunch of people and someone asks you to, like, hang out, just like a friend, um, and maybe you've hung out before or maybe you've never hung out with them alone, but you, like, met them in a group setting. I would love to say yes to everyone, I honestly would. I would love to be that girl that's like, "Yes," like a yes man, but in a way where I'm just, like, so confident and anti stress-free, like, I have all the time in the world. I think in a perfect world where we're all super confident, which we clearly aren't, I think in a perfect world where everybody is built with a lot of energy, a lot of time, no finances to worry about, and we're all just super confident in front of each other and we feel like everybody likes us and every time we go out it's going to be a like a grand time. I think if everyone thought like this, which clearly we know we don't all think like this and we all have our insecurities and moments of unhappiness or just too much stress or too much responsibilities to attend to that you can't say yes to everything and you can't go out to all the plans with everyone. So I do sometimes feel almost bad and guilty that I like, if someone that I do like and I want to be closer friends with, but I cannot actually hang out with every single person that either asks me to hang out or, I'll be like, "Yeah, later like, next time, hopefully." Sometimes I do understand when people say like, "Yeah, next time, like, I'm busy right now, I'll hang out with you in the future." They don't mean it. Maybe they just don't like you and they don't wanna say it out loud, like, "Oh my god, Lucy, I just don't like you. Like, stop asking me to hang out." Like, I feel like sometimes it could be like that, and other times, at least I know for me, and I don't know, I hope maybe sometimes if you feel like someone, either agree to hang out with you or maybe is pushing it to later dates, you think that they just don't like you, that's sometimes is not it. Like, I know for me, I sometimes just can't commit to plans, and I'm try to make less plans with people, or I don't have time for people that I would like to build a better relationship with and get to know more, simply because, 1, I already have so much that I have, like, on my plate. Like, besides trying to have a social life with the people that is already in my life, like my best friends and close friends and my family, my siblings, and my family from different parts of the world that I try to call and have a conversation with and all that, and just, like, kinda keep a good relationship with. It's already really hard, I feel like, when you get to a certain age and you built, like, a certain community of people around you that you feel like you have to attend to, that's already really hard in itself, and on top of that, I just like to build more things for myself. So whether it's having multiple platforms, multiple streams of income that I have to attend to for life, for like my livelihood, or also like this, which is like my passion and my interests, I also have to attend to and to give time to. It takes up a lot of time, like my personal interests and my relationships that's already there, that it's really, really hard for me as much as I want to get to know someone more and hang out with more people. Especially one-on-one. Like, I actually love hanging out with friends, like, one-on-one. Like, a group situation is nice, but it's really lovely when you get to know someone just one-on-one. Um, and in a perfect world, I just wanna say that I think not just me, I believe there's probably a lot of other folks out there that would love to just get to know more people and have all the time in the world to, like, hang out with someone solo or in a group situation, but it's just not the realities of it, and that's just, like, a little snippet of what I said, but I also have, like, high anxiety with, like, new relationships because I feel like with the friends that I already have and the friends that I know and I'm very comfortable with, I'm like, "Okay, I feel safe with them." Even though that took time and it took a risk in getting to that position, right? Like, with every new person that I meet in my life, including, like, my SO, it's like the first time you meet, it's like, "Oh my god, I don't know this person. Do I feel safe?" Like, obviously, we're gonna meet in a public space. I'm not even gonna, like, meet this person at their home because I don't feel safe. Like, we don't know each other. So, I think there's also that aspect of, like, anxiety, for me at least, where if it's someone maybe, like, I met through a friend of a friend, and it's like, they might be close with them or they might be, like, okay friends, but then do I feel okay meeting them alone or do I feel okay, like, hanging out with them more? Is that something I feel safe about? And it's not just, like, about safety, it's also just, like, my regular insecurities popping off. And even when people are like, "Oh, I wanna hang out," I'm like, "Oh, but if we actually hung out, maybe they wouldn't like me." And then that might make me, like, feel worse. Like, maybe if I hang out with someone and they don't end up liking me and then they don't wanna hang out with me afterwards, that original hangout of them asking me to hang out, then I'll feel, like, worse about myself, like, "Wait, maybe I shouldn't have just like, I should have not met them at all." And that's, like, really crazy to think about, I know, but that is literally the type of stuff that will go through my mind. So it's like I'm not doing it on purpose, um, and I just wanted to share that because 'cause that's been on my mind, and sometimes I think about it, and I'm like, "Oh, God, I feel terrible when I do say yes to people," and it's kind of like a brush off yes in a sense where it's like, "Yeah, next time." Like, "Oh, like, yeah, we'll hang out, we'll do this thing, like, next time." But then we don't ever determine a time because I can't determine a time because I'm not even really sure how okay I feel about it, and it's literally nothing towards the person, well, most of the time. I've also had situations where I personally don't really like confrontation. I will only expose myself to confrontation with the people that I love. Like if it's someone I love, my family or my friends, like very important friends to me, even if it's a very awkward conversation where like let's say they pissed me off or something or they did something to me or they disrespected someone that I care about, I'll bring that up or I felt disrespected. I will bring that up and I will be awkward with it only when I like love you. Like when I feel you are important enough to me for me to have that awkward conversation, confrontation. So a lot of the times, like, I've dropped people where, like, clearly I knew they were either talking bad behind my back or they did something that is just unforgivable, and there was just no point to it, and we were never that close in the first place. So for those people, if they asked me to hang out, I would just not I'll, like, sometimes do the brush off thing, like, "Sorry, too busy, maybe later." So I guess you can't really tell, but I just wanna say that sometimes people it's because you wronged them, and hopefully you know if you did wrong someone, you shouldn't be asking them to hang out, they probably don't wanna hang out with you. And other times when you didn't wrong them, it's not that, like, people just dislike you sometimes, it's just that sometimes it's actually something wrong with them, or I don't wanna say something's wrong with them, but for me at least, I feel like I'm in the wrong in a sense because I just think too much, and it's my insecurities and anxiety and also just the natural busyness of my life and all the different things that I already have on my plate that causes me to not be able to almost be a better friend or be more of a friend to you than, like, just an acquaintance or someone you've seen a couple times, and that's why, like, whenever I do have the time to have a conversation with someone, I try my best to be my best, but then at the same time, I cannot do too many, like, social interactions, and I think that also just depends on if you're an introvert or extrovert, and I think a lot of people think I'm an extrovert, and that's also an issue where I think sometimes people might think, "Oh, this person like hangs out with a lot of other people or they talk a lot, like I talk a lot, and they'll just automatically think like, "Oh, well, this person's like super social. So if they don't want to like become very social with me, then it's like I dislike you." But that's not true. I might be very social because I'm just comfortable with those people. And because we didn't get to that level where I maybe known you for years or um someone's like vouching for you, like another close friend of mine is vouching for you and saying this person's like super chill and nice and like one of the greatest people I've ever met, then it makes me not have that safety net. And there's just so many different reasons to it. And I am one of those people that's I personally feel like I'm an introvert. So I don't need all that social time. It's like I love it and I love getting to know people and I love like even responding back to comments and all that. But at the same time, like, I could just completely be alone. Like, I'm not kidding you. Like, when I see, like, some of those challenges, like, there's all these different challenges on the internet, like, Mr. Beast loves to do them. I think there's one of those ones where it's like I don't know if it's I didn't actually watch it, but I think there's, like, 2 people in isolation, or one of the challenges was, like, people are in isolation, and then you get money or something like that if you're, like, by yourself, or maybe you're in a room with just, like, one other person, but there's, like, nothing to do for, like, I don't know, like, a month or 2 month or a very long time, and if you can overcome that, you get the money, and I'm like, "Oh my god, I'd be built for that." Like, I literally think I could be in an empty room that's just completely white, and it's just so boring and nothing to do in it, just me and my own thoughts. I could do that for, like, honestly, maybe even, like, 3 months. I'd be totally, like, mentally okay. Just because, like, I don't think I need the social interaction. Like, I'll miss my friends and my family and, like, my romantic partner, but I could actually just be by myself. But I also get that, like, everyone's different, and some of my friends that are more extroverted, they either need people around or really, really deeply enjoy, like, either being at parties, throwing parties, and just constantly being with people. Whereas, like, my social battery is very much I this is, like, under control in a sense where, like, yeah, I'm doing a live stream talking to you guys, and it's, like, online, and it seems like it takes a lot of, like, guts to do this. It's actually not to me because the way I see it is I'm, like, still by myself. I'm in the comfort and control of my, like, own space. So it's so different from being in, like, a room full of people that you're not really sure of, um, and just feeling, like, anxiety and awkward and all that. It's very, very different. Um, yeah. I think for some people that need the social battery charge, it's like being around people energizes them, and then for me, feel like being around people, I enjoy it, but then I need, like, my alone time, and I don't think there's a right or wrong way to it, it's just what you need, and you probably should follow your heart on what you need, and not because I do know friends who, like, tell me later on that, like, "Oh, I kinda wish that I didn't say yes to so many things," or I think a lot of people do suffer from that where, like, they're either more introverted, but they have maybe more extroverted friends. Because it's funny, I feel like it's a good pair, though, when you have an extroverted person with an introverted person. It's kinda nice, because the introverted person might need an extroverted person to, like, get them out of their shell in a sense, but sometimes when a person doesn't need that much social time and they're friends with a lot of people that needs a lot of social time, one person might be giving in too much of what they shouldn't be. So, if you are a very introverted person, that sounds like maybe you should try saying no more often. It might actually end up benefiting you. I know that when I was younger, I just wanted to fit in a lot with, like, whether it's to feel, like, more popular and feel like I have more friends and just have, like, all these people surround me and either throw parties or just trying to say yes to everything, like, I just wanted to be a part of everything. At least I knew, like, the me in high school was like that. Like, I just wanted to be a yes person. There was pretty much no moment in time where I was like, "No, I don't wanna go to that." Like, I wanted to say yes to literally everything, even to parties where I didn't like, barely knew anyone, and that's a total mistake because then you just end up feeling so stressed out and anxious, and when you don't feel safe, a lot of times you might make the wrong choices or feel unhappy, just naturally, like, not feeling comfortable in a space and then knowing that you put yourself in that position. So, I'm glad that after many years, I realized sometimes it's just better for me to say no to something that I don't feel comfortable with, or maybe if I said yes to, like, 2, 3 things in a week. Honestly, like, 1 big social thing for me in a week is already a lot. I could do 2, but 3 is, like, I know I'm pushing it. Like, if I'm doing 3 social things in a week, I'm like, "Oh, man," I'm tired, like, mentally exhausted, which is really weird because I didn't think like that when I was in high school or even in college. It was more like, "Oh, I just wanna, like, hit a list of things to do," you know? It was like a bucket list of just like, "I wanna do this, I wanna do that." And maybe this is with age where, like, after you've done a bunch of things, you're like, "Oh, okay. Try that, did this thing, and now I'm just like, I'm good. I'm chill. I don't wanna repeat certain things." So it might be that as well. Hi there, Bangkok, Roxy, Style, welcome you guys. Um, with that many people in the world, I wonder, do soulmates exist? A guy says, soulmates. I definitely always like, I'm a hopeless romantic, or at least I think I am because I've never really given up on love, even after I said multiple times that I was gonna give up if something bad were to happen in a relationship that I've been in, and then they do go wrong, and I'm just, like, right back in it. Like, I think after 2-ish major heartbreaks, I would say, in my past, I just kinda think of it as I didn't think I could make it, and then I made it, so then now I just feel stronger and, like, I know I'm never gonna give up, and the one thing that I took from failed relationships is that relationships can fail, but I could still believe in myself and in love and in the idea of love, and I can keep going. So I'm a forever romantic. I do believe in whether it's soulmates or because I like to think that whoever I'm with at the moment is my soulmate. And this just happens every time where I remember my first ever relationship, I'm like, oh my God, that's my soulmate. Or I'm like, this is the one. Or we call it different things, but I would just call that like true love. Like that's my true love, that's my soulmate, that's my person. And then when it goes bad, then I meet the next person. I'm like, "Oh, that wasn't it. This is it." So then I'm not really sure if then that is a correct way to call, like, if there's only one soulmate, because then I'm like, "Wait, I said that person was my soulmate, and then they weren't my soulmate anymore, and then that person was my soulmate, and then they weren't my soulmate anymore." So, I don't know. I like to think of it as just love, and I think as you grow, you know more about yourself. Like, I know more of who I am, and I think I am more the real me now today than I was 10 years ago or even 20 years ago. Well, actually, no. You know what's weird? I feel like maybe when I was, like, under 10, I might have been more so myself than when I was, like, 17. Does that make sense? Like, sometimes I think about how when people are like, "Oh, the older I get," which is what I just said, "I'm more to my true self." But I actually think maybe was my true self because I didn't even think about the words like depression, insecurities, anxiety. I didn't even know what any of that was at, like, for example, the age of, like, 6 or 7. So I think, like, in a sense, in that moment in time, that child me, even though I didn't know as much as I do today, that me, that childhood me was, and maybe you guys were too, at one point in time, just so pure, simple, and just because you were just being yourself. Like, there wasn't as much maybe social media or media brainwashing or you feeling a certain way because someone told you something about yourself. Like, I remember I didn't even care so much about, like, looks and how someone thought of my looks or how my like, whether what people are saying now is like, "Oh, you're mid," or "This person's, like, super good looking or not," or "This person's conventionally good looking or not." Like, those words did not exist in my childhood brain, and I feel like, in a sense, life was almost better, and I was just, like, more just like me. I just, like, did things because I like to do them. Like, I'll paint and draw because I like to paint and draw, and I'll, like, just say whatever unfiltered things that I wanted to say as a child, so I feel like that was very real, even though I wasn't as educated at the time, but as a child, think that was, like, a very real version, and I think, like, the worst or the version that I felt like was more brainwashed to an extent and not as real as I am today was, like, the more middle school, high school version of myself. And let me know if you know what I'm talking about and if that's also how you feel, like, back then, because I do know a lot of people do change from their high school self versus their adult self, um, and some people don't. Some people, like, stay the same. I think, like, there are parts of me where I feel like, obviously, like, I am more grown up and I know better than a lot of the things that I did when I was in high school, but at the same time, there are also parts of me where I feel like I'm just like, I still laugh at really dumb jokes that was really stupid, and I still laughed at it in, like, high school. I'll probably still laugh at it now. So there's, like, still parts of me where I'm like, "Oh, it's kinda the same," and also I feel like a completely different person that I personally like to think that I'm making better decisions today. The only way to get over it is to raw food writer. Yeah, you know what? I did see that video. I don't know what's happening with her though now. Miss Hoctois. I don't even know if that's her. Is that her? I don't even know what her real name is. Haley something. Um, I know she's on X. I don't think she ever called herself a Hoctois girl or anything like that on X. I don't think that would be, but that's what most people refer to her as. I just know that she was like, in my radar from that video, and then the next time I saw her all over the news was during the crypto fiasco, and then she, like, disappeared, and then apparently, I think recently she came back, and I think she got some type of sponsorship, I don't even know what, and now I'm not hearing from her anymore. That's the thing with, like, social media today, it's like people just come and go so easily and quickly. But anyways, back to topic of this. Yeah, there'll just be people that will come into your life and come in your life, go out of it, whether it's a romantic relationship or a friendship, and they honestly, I would say, like, when I look back at some of my friendships and romantic relationships, sometimes my friendships, like my old friendships, would actually cause me a little bit of a bittersweet moment than my relationships. Not to say that I loved my friends or ex-friends more than my ex-boyfriends or whatever. Not to say that, it's not that. But it's more like, okay, when a I think when a relationship ends, it's more stern, it's more structured. Usually either it's mutual, which rarely is the case, where both people are like, "I'm done. Like, this is just not it." Like, as if you both telepathically said it at the same moment in time, which is just so rare, so rare. Um, but other times it's just very clear and cut where somebody cheated on someone. It's like, "Okay, of course I'm breaking up with you." Right? And then it's over. And then, yes, it hurts, and I've cried, like, for months on previous heartaches. But at the end of the day, there's, like, still not that much to think about. 3 years down the line, 4 years down the line, 5 years down the line, like, they might still pop up in your brain every now and then, or maybe you listen to a song that you both enjoyed, or, sometimes I think about a movie that I know, like, one of my exes, let's say, like, really enjoyed, and that was, like, somehow ingrained in my brain, and I'm like, "Oh god, now why am I thinking about this person?" But not in any romantic way, just like, "Oh my gosh, I remember this." Um but besides that, they don't really, like, pop up in your brain because it's over and you know, like, real well why it's over. Whereas I think, honestly, friendships are more of a gray spot where I don't know about you guys, but I have a lot of friendships that just some of it was, like, totally my fault. Like, even at the age of 7, I had this, like, one childhood best friend that I know her name. I don't even know if she still remembers me at all because we were, like, 7, and when I moved away, I was just an idiot, and I didn't know better, even though she mattered a lot to me, because clearly she does if I still think about it after all these years, but I just wasn't good enough of a friend or thoughtful enough of a person or a friend, I guess, or just I was just stupid at the age of 7, I don't know. I failed to tell this friend that I was moving. I failed to tell them, like, where I was going or leave any phone numbers or ask them to leave their phone number. Like, I just completely lost this person. And so, like, those are the ones that really hurt. Where, like, after years, I'm just like, "Oh my god, I wish I could find this person and be like, 'What's going on?'" Because I have just there is no way of finding this person. And I have no connection to them. So it's just kind of like, wow, this, like, piece of memory just, like this person, this memory, or, like, all the good times as friends that you had is just, like, forever in the past because you cannot find this person in the future. So those were, like, really bummer moments, and that's why I feel like friendships really when they're over or sometimes they fizzle out and there's really no real explanation, it actually boggles my mind more. And I've had other friendships where maybe they didn't wrong me, like, or maybe we didn't wrong each other, or maybe they thought that I wronged them, or I thought that they wronged me, and there wasn't actually anything that bad in between, but we just, like, kind of talked less, or maybe someone moved away and we stopped being friends. It's like I wish them well, and a lot thankfully for social media, a lot of these people that I either friendships that fizzle out, or maybe someone I hung out for a bit and then we stopped hanging out, but there wasn't any bad blood. It's like I can still stalk you on social media. Like I could still know what's going on, and it's nice to know, like, okay, even if we're not friends, like, okay, but they're doing well. And it always makes me happy when, like, someone at a certain point in my life that did mean something to me or we did have good times as friends, when I see, like, them just, like, still being happy and living their life, like, actually makes me generally happy. Unless if they wrong me, then I'm like, "Oh, I don't wanna think about you." I usually don't even care to, like, even if we do have each other on social media, I wouldn't even, like, go look because I don't care, right? Like, if you're living better than me, good for you. or not, I don't care. But if I don't see it, it won't even bother me, right? 'Cause, like, if they were a terrible friend or did something bad to me, like, as kids, so it's not even that big of a deal, um, I would think of it as, I don't need to really kinda check in on you, but you could be there, I'm not gonna block you, like, it's just one of those situations. So, yeah, I think friendships are a funny thing, but it's very bittersweet when you lose someone or you had a close friend and then something happened or maybe they didn't say something or you didn't say something and then after so much time it's just too late. At least what I learned from it as well is after having so many friendships that either fizzled out or somebody moved, I learned that when people do eventually move, and I think I'll probably deal with this more as I age because sometimes people with their spouses might move, with their family might move, or for their children they might move. I think as people, like, move far away from your life, you just have to try. Like, I think that's something I didn't do as much as a kid. I like, if someone were to move away or be further from me, or it would be more of a trek to, like, get to them, sometimes I'm just like, "Okay, whatever." Like, I focus on, like, proximity, someone that's closer to me. And I think now that I'm older, I do regret not trying harder for certain friendships that I'm like, I seriously did like the people a lot, but then I just didn't give enough effort when it got harder. And I really do try now where even when I do have friends who are further from me, I might not be checking in on them every other day. That's just not realistic. I don't even check in on my mom every other day, but I always will try to like send them a message, remember their birthdays, or ask them how things are, even if we don't see each other every day. Even if I only see them like once a year or once every 2 years. But like they matter to me and I want to keep that connection and I wanna show them that I care. It's just something that I have to go out of my way to show because otherwise how would people know, right? And I think again, at the end of all of this, it's like the thing with relationships, I feel like, that's so crazy, but it also shows how complex, like, I guess, humans are, is you everyone, like, you might hear this all the time where people are like, "I just wish they knew my heart." I wish others knew, like, where I'm coming from. And that would be such a lovely world if everyone understood each other like that, because I naturally believe that more people are good in this world than bad, even if good people do bad things and bad people do good things sometimes. I think at the end of the day, I do think most people are kind and good, even if we make mistakes and have done bad things or whatever. Um, and it's unfortunate that we don't know each other's hearts. So we can't actually read into each other's minds and expose every chapter of our lives and our origin stories and why we are the way we are and why do we do the things we do. And unfortunately, people out there can only see little, not even chapters of you. Most of the times they're just gonna like hear a random AI summary version of you, basically from a friend of a friend or from someone else or something else they heard of you or like straight up gossip about you. And then they're gonna think of that as like your whole because it's just not enough time in the world for everyone to go on a podcast and talk about their entire lives. I don't think there's I think if everyone had a podcast and they had every moment, even with like honestly, I've made over 5,000 videos on the internet and I know I never said every little detail about myself for a fact. And there's so many parts of just myself alone that I know I'll never be able to share because maybe it's inappropriate or I just can't because there's just not enough time. So I hope that this helps with you in any way at all because I know like sometimes it bothers me and I'm glad that today I thought about this. Maybe like few days from now I'll forget about what I just said and I'll go back into the stress mode of, "Oh my god, why don't people like me more?" But I just think that's it's a natural thing and all of us have insecurities and one of them being it's hard. It's hard to deal with relationships, romantic ones, and family, and extended family, and friendships, and mutual friends. It's just so much, and it's so complicated, and it's just so easy for you to go for the easy way out, which is, "Oh my gosh, people just don't like me." Like, they don't like the way I look, or I'm not cool enough, or I'm not rich enough. I'm not successful enough, I'm not funny enough. It's just all these things that can make you feel like, "Oh, man, this person just doesn't like me." Or I know I felt that way even like, I'm taken now, obviously, I'm very happy in my relationship, but even when I was single, I remember going on dates and being like, "Oh, man, like, I'm not even sure if I like this guy, but, like, I wonder if this person thinks I'm all those things I just said. Like, not good enough, maybe they think I'm too fat, like, I don't know, there's, like, all these things that I would be, just feeding myself from, like, one look, or maybe if they said something, or maybe, I say something and I get, like, a weird response back, and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, maybe I offended this person." I don't know. It's just so many ways to feel terrible about ourselves, and I think everyone goes through it at some point in time, and that's okay. So, hopefully, this helps you in the future. If someone makes you feel confused about, like, what you did or what you said, they just or you feel sad about the fact that not as many people want to befriend you or want to date you, I think at the end of the day, you just have to be okay with the fact that that is something we all have to go through, and we're not gonna please everyone, and also, it could just be that they got to know a chapter of you, and that wasn't the one that made them want to read the book. But had things been different in a parallel universe, and they got to know another chapter, they might actually really like you. Like, I truly believe, like, even with myself and, like, certain people that I see and talk to, sometimes I feel like they probably just said something, and I just maybe didn't like that. But I maybe there's another part of them that I don't know. I may not wanna get to know them more, but now I accept that I might have just messed up and missed out on, like, a great friendship because they said something, didn't really hit with me, but there could be so much more to them, so many other chapters that actually align with my chapters in life, and we could actually be really, really similar. But hey, sometimes you just miss the boat, and that's okay because 'cause there'll be other boats. So anyways, guys, I hope you, enjoy this video. Hit the like button if you haven't already, and yeah, there'll be more of these. I just have so many things that I wanna talk about, and this will be the chapter for today. There will be more things that I deem important to talk about in the future, so if you enjoy these videos, ring that notification bell, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.